Hi everyone, today in this video I'm gonna develop another mental model that can be helpful for you in order to so you take best type of decisions, and obviously I think that as much better you are in decision making as well, so you can expect you having more prosperity whatever is the field that you're going to apply that skill of being a good decision making, because to be a good decision making you're required to have knowledge about reality, and that's so why enters the importance of mental models, since they are representations about how a specific field in reality tends to behave. So I already expect you to help me by subscribing and afterwards seeing other videos so to make you gain even more insights. And then so today we're gonna talk about the path dependence. It's a principle that talks about how past decisions shape our future, and so the future decisions as well. And then so what you have to understand is that the path dependence is the idea that the decisions and events of the past establish a course that strongly influences future outcomes, often locking in certain paths, even if they're suboptimal. And then so the core idea is that small historical decisions can have long-lasting impacts, and that's so it's what so might seem like minor choices at the time probably can ultimately shape industries, institutions, and even societal norms for generations. And then so obviously comes a relevance, because understanding path defenders it helps us so to make sense of why some inefficient systems persist, and then so it encourages us to rethink how to approach reform and innovation. And then so now that we have understood, then this concept talks about so how past decisions that we have done limits decisions that we're going to do in the future, and as well influences our perception of quality that same decisions can have, and that's so influencing what's going to be the one that I'm going to do. And then so the initial condition matter, it's already one thing that we can take from accepting path dependency as truth. So early decisions set a precedent, creating self-reinforces mechanisms that makes changes increasingly difficult over time. So once a particular path is chosen, alternative options become less viable through increasing returns, network effects, or institutional inertia. So now, to even be more illustrative for you, you should focus in real life examples. So what could be a real life example? We have the economic and political systems, the colonial institutions. Many post colonial states still grapple with legal and administrative frameworks imposed during colonial rule, which so continue to influence modern governance. So it's a simple example of by having something had happened in the past, how it influenced and still influences future and the present. We have solved the infrastructure decisions, investments in transportations or energy infrastructure once made determine the long-term development patterns of cities and regions. That's true. The main regions that we see today that are developed, they attract more talent, they attract more tourists, they attract so more immigrants, are more so created because in past decisions that were made by people so a lot back in our ancestors have so selected some specific type of places to go to live, because in the past then the main type of needs that people had probably was to fishing, and then so was explained the majority of developed countries being and having so sea over so their borders, because in the past the first migrants, what was the focus of people in Manchester's millennial in like 1,000 years ago, was so to reproduce and to survive, and then so to survive by getting food. And so would you get food or having animals or having fish? So if you kind of so live more close to a coast, obviously you're gonna be able to catch fish and to fishing. And then so that's why the majority of the countries that we see today, civilization, have been present in regions that are surrounded by water. That's why United States, and particularly what's the region of United States that are more developed? The left coast and the right coast. the Europe. Europe is mainly surrounded as well by water, and obviously other type of countries, while other ones that are so not have these water resources that can be taken are so as well have a tendency likelihoods to kind of be more poor. And then so regions as well as obviously so have been selected by the people from that have so started and have more higher conditions to survive, and then meeting the basal levels of needs they obviously comes for more complex things and so develop a more type of complex type of society, and not have so to get in count other concepts as weather that some people probably in regions for Africa they suffer by having suffer with more hot, like in comparison with people that are in the spectrum, like the units is United States, Europe, Russia, are more like the majority are in a way that the temperature is not that neither too much cold, neither too much as well so hot, which so is good for people's life. And then so they kind of bother more with other things that so are more are not like the fundamentals of what you need to survive, but they increase so the quality of life, which so attracts people to go for that specific regions. We have as well examples in technological innovations, so the internet protocols, early choices in networking standards like TCP or EP shaped the entire modern internet, creating a structure that's difficult to overwhelm. And obviously, so these are basic examples. The best one that I will give is so the economic and political system. That's why so we have the forces today as United States, Europe, Russia, China, because they already suffer with so some specific type of allocations of people that so by having selected these specific places, they are so by being better places to be present, they so have been having so increased the likelihood of them developing faster than other regions of globe, which don't so attracts right now more people to go. It's like in that specific example, it's like winner takes all. So the best type of region always going to attract more people, and then so even increasing the differential between seeing the whole reaches that specific region in comparison with other ones. And then so now I think it's close to understand other thing that is how your initial type of stage that you start your life obviously benefits as well a lot of your way that you're going to have in terms of performance in the future. And that's why we like and people like to fight and talk about the inequalities, trying to fight them, trying to reduce them, because we understood that inequalities they tend not to just remain, they tend even to be even higher. For example, so people that's rich in comparison to one that's poor, that rich and poor initial life, when doing the land of the life, the rich one that starts as rich gonna have even a higher type of differential in comparison with the one that started as poor. And that's why so we tend to believe that the differentials they tend to increase even exponentially, not just remain being the ones that have so started. And then so obviously the implications of that is the resilience of inefficient systems. So I give these examples, but for example, institutions of technologies that might no longer be optimal persist simply because the initial moments that they built up, challenges to reform, changing entrenched systems requires overcoming a host of historical, cultural, and economic barriers, opportunities to innovations. So recognizing the role of path dependence can spur creative approaches to respond or to disrupt so or reform outdated systems. So policymakers and leaders they can design strategies that anticipate or mitigate lock-in effects, allowing for more flexible and adaptive systems. So now we have and we can look as well how to leverage the path dependence model. So be aware of history, understand that past decisions influence present choices. Questions so whether current practices are the result of deliberate optimizations or mere historical inertia. So your tendency to behave in a certain way just probably just because in the past some specific leader influence type of figure has so spread that this thing will be good to done, and then so people adopt as a cultural type of practice, but probably you can think more in scientific method and probably looking for alternatives and testing so if they're better than the one that you do and the one that you do just because other ones have been done. And then obviously so design with flexibility when creating new systems or policies, building mechanisms for periodic review and adaptation to avoid so long-term lock-in. Encourage experimentation, obviously, so it's what I have been talking. Support pilot projects or alternative approaches that challenges the status quo, thereby gradually shifting the trajectory over time. And then so the best type of conclusion you want to take is like path dependence, that they teach us that story isn't just a series of isolated events. It's a continuous interconnected process that so shapes our world. The way that you behave today is based in how we behaved or what has happened in the past. And so the results that you got from today are results from consequences that were already pre-built in the past. And then so if you want to influence the future, understood that things that you do right now today already so can be something that impacts so your quality of the outcomes that you get in the future. So I expect these videos help you to take you some specific insights, and I expect you as well to help me by subscribing and seeing other videos so to make you a better person. So see you in the next one.